Have you ever seen the presidential motorcade on the news and wondered what's really going on inside that wall of black cars? Well, today, we're diving deep into one of the most complex, high-stakes operations on Earth, moving the President of the United States. It's an incredible dance of security and technology that happens right out in the open.
You know, this quote just says it all, doesn't it? It perfectly captures the constant tension. Every single trip, whether it's just across town or all the way across the globe, is treated like a moment of maximum danger. This has nothing to do with luxury. It's all about neutralizing a constant invisible threat.
So why all the intensity? It's simple, really. A president is never more exposed than when they're on the move. When they're out in the open, going from one secure spot to another, that's when they become a target. And tragically, history has proven this point in the worst way possible.
And here it is. This is the stark reality. Of the 4 U.S. presidents who have been assassinated, 2 of them were killed while traveling. These events completely rewrote the rules for presidential security and are the direct reason for the incredible measures we see today.
Okay, so for any trip that's relatively short, the Secret Service rolls out the first layer of this security onion, the presidential motorcade. But honestly, just calling it a motorcade is a huge understatement. It's more like a mobile fortress, a command center on wheels. Just get a load of the scale of this thing. We're talking about a convoy that can have over 50 vehicles and more than 150 people for a single trip. Every single detail, from who opens the door to the exact route, is planned with military-grade precision. Any little thing that goes off script is immediately treated as a serious threat.
And this convoy is packed with specialized vehicles, each with a critical job to do. Of course, at the heart of it is the presidential limo, the Beast. We'll get to that in a sec. But it's surrounded by all these other assets, like the jammer van that blocks remote bomb signals, a mobile communications hub, and cars filled with heavily armed counter-assault teams. Every car has a life-or-death mission. So here's where the strategy gets really, really clever. In that massive line of cars, you will always see 2 identical presidential limos. So how would an attacker ever know which one to go after?
The short answer is they wouldn't. It's a classic shell game. The 2 limos are completely indistinguishable. I mean, right down to the license plates. During the trip, they're constantly and subtly changing positions, making it a pure 50-50 guess for any would-be attacker. It's such a simple idea, but absolutely brilliant. All right, let's zoom in on the star of the show itself. The limousine, which is officially called Cadillac One, is way better known by its nickname, the Beast. And trust me, it has earned that name. It is way less of a car and much, much more of a personal tank. 9 tons. Just let that sink in for a second. This thing is so incredibly heavy because it's not built on a car frame. It's built on a heavy-duty truck chassis. That's what allows it to carry an insane amount of armor and defensive tech. And that armor includes the windows. They are 5 inches thick. A bullet fired right at it, close range, is not getting through. In fact, only the driver's window opens at all, and even then, just a tiny crack so they can talk to agents outside. The level of preparation inside the Beast is just wild. It's got offensive capabilities, like tear gas cannons, but it's also basically a survival pod. It has its own sealed oxygen supply in case of a chemical attack, puncture-proof tires, and get this, it always carries a supply of the president's blood type, just in case the worst happens. Okay, so that's how they do it on the ground. But what about when the president needs to go farther, or even overseas? Well, the entire operation just scales up, moving from the road to the sky. And those core ideas of security and deception, they go right along with it. That same shell game that works so well with the limos is taken to the skies. The exact same principle of deception applies, but on a much, much bigger scale. The president never, ever flies alone. Now check this out. For short trips by helicopter, a whole fleet of up to 5 identical helicopters, all called Marine One, will take off and land together. And for those long-haul flights, 2 identical Boeing 747s, both using the call sign Air Force One, do the exact same thing. The president is only on one of them. And it's important to remember Air Force One isn't actually the plane. It's the call sign for any Air Force aircraft the president is on. But the plane itself is basically a flying White House. It lets the president run the entire country from 40,000 feet up, with secure communications, a conference room, even their own office. So let's put this all together. The president needs to fly to another country. How on earth do you get that entire security bubble, the motorcade, the helicopters, all the people to the other side of the planet?
The logistics are just staggering. I mean, that's the real question, right? Air Force One is fast, but it can't exactly carry a 50-car motorcade in its luggage compartment. The solution is this incredible feat of advanced planning that happens days before the president even thinks about packing a bag. So here's how they do it. Days before the trip, massive C-17 cargo planes get loaded up with everything. Both of the beasts, the jammer vans, the communications hubs, even the Marine One helicopters, with their rotor blades all folded up for the ride. So by the time Air Force One's wheels touch down, the entire security operation is already on the ground, fueled up, and ready to go.
So we've seen the complexity, the tech, the sheer number of people involved, but all of this, as you can imagine, comes with an equally astonishing price tag. What does it actually cost to move the president safely from point A to point B? Well, let's take a really common, really short trip as an example. Flying from the White House in Washington, D.C., up to the United Nations in New York City. It's a flight that takes what? About an hour? The estimated price tag for that 1-hour flight is $157,000. That covers everything. The fuel for the decoy jets, the personnel, the cargo planes that flew ahead, everything we just talked about. All for a single hour in the air. And here's the real kicker. That staggering number, that's just for one direction. You have to double it for the round trip. It is an almost unbelievable amount of money, but it's a cost that is deemed absolutely necessary. You know, it all brings us back to this one fundamental question. From the historical threats that started it all to the modern-day solutions of decoys and rolling fortresses, this entire massive operation is a response to a dangerous world. It really makes you think. When security is this complex, this costly, what is the true price